Thanks for staying tuned. I'm Colin Abrams with the Hgp Sportcast. On Thursday night, the Guardians clipped Ravens' wings and Cobras bit UG Trojans as the Georgetown Amateur Basketball Association knockout tournament continued at the Cliff Anderson Sports Hall. Stanford Howard filed this report.
The final night before the semi-final saw a thrilling matchup between the Ravens and Guardians. Ravens flew high with the ball and took the first quarter 19-13. The Guardians showed their strength in the second quarter when they scored a massive 24 points to 13 to take the first half of the game with a lead of 5 points, 37-32. Ravens then revitalized themselves in the second half of the game, taking the third quarter 17-12, sending both teams into the final quarter on 49 points each. In the final quarter, it was point for point, but Guardians in the final minutes of the game pulled off an upset to seal the win 77-71. In the second matchup of the evening saw UG Trojans leading from the front with a 16 points margin against the Cobras in the first quarter. The Cobras then made inroads to close the gap in the second quarter but still trailed at the first half 38-27. With UG positioned to win the game after dominating the first half, the Cobras made a comeback after losing the third 14-9, but took the fourth quarter 26-10, sending the game into overtime, with the Cobras pulling a blinder over the UG Trojans to win 73-69. For the Hgp Sportscast, I am Stanford Howard.
Thank you, Stanford. Guyanese Kimo Paul was called up to replace injured Cottrell in the West Indies squad. A hamstring injury has ruled West Indies fast bowler Sheldon Cottrell out of the remainder of the ongoing ICC World Cup qualifier in Zimbabwe. Cottrell suffered an injury during West Indies' first group game against the United Arab Emirates, in which he bowled only 4.4 overs. He has been replaced by uncapped Ghana right-arm quick Kimo Paul. Paul has 82 wickets across first class and List A cricket, with a bowling average of 17.35 and 21.32 in the two formats respectively. Moving on in cricket news, West Indies 2-2 after trampling Papua New Guinea in the ICC Cricket World Cup qualifiers. Stanford has more.
Papua New Guinea, elected to bat first, was met with a strong bowling attack from the Windies, seeing them on 1-for-1 from 3 deliveries. Skipper Asad Val made a contribution of 57, but that was one of only 4 batsmen who managed double figures. Carlos Brathwaite was the reason for such a state of affairs, picking up his first 5-wicket haul in ODIs and instigating a collapse which pinned PNG from 151 for 4 to 169 for 9. They were eventually bowled out for 200 runs. The Windies had a slight scare from start from the PNG bowlers, seeing them on 16 for 2 in just 3 overs. Shea Hope's 49 and Jason Holder's 99, who steered the Windies over the line by 6 wickets with 42 balls to spare. Reporting for the Hgp Sportscast, I'm Stanford Howard.
Thank you, Stanford. The Georgetown Football Club will host the weekend matches of the GFF Elite League due to unplayable Tugville and Buxton grounds. On Friday, the matchup will see Western Tigers versus Cougars FC at 18 hours and Fruta Conquerors FC versus Denamstel FC at 20 hours, while on Sunday we will see Melrock FC go against New Amsterdam United FC in the first game at 17 hours, and the feature game will see GDF FC versus Victoria Kings FC at 19:30 hours. Western Tigers will be hoping to capitalize on the match to gain the valuable 3 points over Cougars, which will take them to the top of the points table. In the second match of the doubleheader, Fruta Conquerors will have their work cut out against Denamstel, which has given a reasonably good account of themselves as newcomers to the league. Likewise, a win for Denamstel would take them to the top of the table, but with 1 match more than the other leading contenders. In the first match on Sunday, New Amsterdam United will be looking to get on the points table in order to break their drought thus far. GDF will also be looking forward to a tough match prior to their departure for the Caribbean Shield, one in which they should get coming against points leaders Victoria Kings. The GFF Elite League is a senior league of the Ghana Football Federation, which informs the senior national squad. Admission to all matches is $500, but all women and children under 12 years old will be admitted free of charge. The Ghana Deaf Association on Thursday had a deaf inter-school swim meet at Colgrane Pool. The event saw participation from special schools from around Guyana. It was attended by representatives of the National Sports Commission and the Ministry of Education. 3 categories of swimming events were challenged: under 16 boys and girls, over 16 boys and girls, and over 20 boys and girls. Champions in the under 16 boys category was Dion Smith, and in the girls category, Kesia Fuller and Danila Farrell. Champions in the over 16 boys category was Antonia Johnson, and in the girls category, Deliana Lindor. And champions in the over 20 boys category was Shamar Brown, and in the girls category, Makisha Correa. The tournament continues on Friday with track and field events. For the Hgp Sports, Colin Abrams.
Finally, former world number 1 Serena Williams won her first singles match on the WTA Tour for nearly 14 months as she returned after the birth of her child. Williams reached the second round at Indian Wells with a 7-5, 6-3 victory over Kazakhstan's Serena Dia. It was her first singles match on the tour since she won the 2017 Australian Open while pregnant. And that has brought us to the end of this edition of the Hgp Sportscast. Before you go, remember, life is like a sport. Always remember to play fair. Have an enjoyable weekend. Goodbye.